So, Bri, are you excited for the football season? Me too. Who looks good this year? Really? I heard their quarterback might be out for the year. What about Holy Cross? My son is a coach there. Okay. How about offenses? What are they running this year? Well, you know me. I'm a Power Eye girl from way back.
And the Record Journal is back with This Week in High School Sports. Good morning. I am Brian Carpenter, sports editor of the Meriden Record Journal, alongside my man, my right-hand man, Mr. Shawnee Krofsick, and with our man, Spencer Davis, behind the camera. And welcome to another year of This Week in High School Sports. Shawnee, somehow between the heat and the rain and the locusts, we managed to get underway, and we're able to bring folks a show here in week one.
Yeah, it wasn't looking good for a while there. We've had a little bit of everything, and this heat has been something. And but we're really on fire this Friday.
And the good thing is, I guess we could look on the bright side, is that half our state isn't on fire. But hey, let's focus in on what we've got. And before we get going, obviously I have to say a big thank you to Ed and Mary Pergiovanni at Family Dental Care up in Rocky Hill. And of course to my co-star, you see her there, Miss Joy Colangelo. And I've got a good story, like a little 6 degrees of separation story that has to do with Mike Drury that I'll get to after we get into the highlights, because Sean, we got some good stuff tonight, and we're going to start right over at Falcon Field, where Maloney, big win over Windsor, Shawnee, 26-20. Hey man, this is a team that really stuck it to Maloney last year, beat them twice, handed them their only defeats, beat them by shutout, and then lo and behold, look what Maloney does tonight.
Yeah, just a marquee win, like you said. Yeah, it was looking really good for them early on, right away. Elliot Good, first of 2 touchdown passes on the day, bomb to Victor Marquez. They go up 6-0, and then 14-0 after Freddie Hidalgo, 8-yard touchdown run. We'll hear from Hidalgo later on. He had the game-winning touchdown. And then 14-6, Windsor comes back. Elliot Good to Jalen Nixon, 20-6 heading into the 4th. Then Windsor scores back-to-back touchdowns to tie the game. And yeah, the last minute, Maloney comes up with the big touchdown from Freddie Hidalgo and pull off a big victory at Falcon Field.
Now, as I understand it, on that winning drive, Elliot Good and Maurice Brackett hooked up on a 4th and 7 play. Yes. And there was also a penalty in there on Windsor, leads to Hidalgo scoring the winning touchdown. And yet, of course, though, it's not over, because it's never over at Falcon Field sometimes. Windsor drives what? Did they get inside the red zone, Shawnee?
Yeah, they got to the 20 and a big stop. Big stop by Maloney. And
a big win. That is a huge win for the Spartans. You know, they went 9-1 a year ago. Of course, they lost in Windsor in the regular season, went back up there for the quarterfinals in Class L, and they were shut out both times. And, you know, I talked to Kevin Frederick in the preseason. He was saying, you know, we're really looking for that signature win. We were talking about him having to play Windsor right out of the gate, you know. And there it is. The signature win, or as we said in the headline today, the John Hancock win, because it's a big signature win for the Spartans. Good for Kevin Frederick and his boys, and you know what too? For Elliot Good, because here's a kid, he's a nice kid, fine young man, and he really couldn't play last year. He was injured, and he steps in, and lo and behold, leads his team to really quite a victory. Good for them.
Great win.
And on Thursday night, actually, we're going to go back in time a little bit. Thursday night, the only game in town, the only game in Connecticut, the Platte Panthers up in Farmington, as Coach Jason Bruin said, they are the Panthers, the mighty Panthers, and we're going to let a little thunder, lightning, or rain stop them up there. And they wound up getting kind of a thunder and lightning performance out of their new running backs.
Yeah, that's right. And they played in a downpour that first half. They were up 7-6 at the half, and then Roberto Salas, he really emerged onto the scene, 180 yards, 19 carries, and he just exploded in the second half.
Yeah, 180 yards, only a sophomore.
Yeah.
I mean, think Platt, they lost, so many kids, quarterback, and Elijah Felton at wide receiver.
Yeah.
And the one thing you could really count on in the offense, there's E.J. Dudley back, Mr. 1,000 yards. He did it as a sophomore and a junior. And here's another fine young man. And you hate to see seniors lose their senior year to injury, especially the good guys. But he's there in his captain's capacity, and he spoke highly in preseason of Salas and also of Sean Bell Jr., who got cut his varsity teeth there too in the backfield, and also Lorenzo Sanson, the quarterback.
Yeah.
And it adds up to a 27-7 win for the Panthers up in Farmington.
Yeah.
And don't forget Jake Baker, another senior captain who got it going with the kickoff return to start the second half.
Start the second half. Yeah, that was huge. That was huge. Yeah, no, it was a great win for the Panthers, but quite a second half.
So both our Meriden teams out of the gate at 1-0. Our third Meriden team, Wilcox Tech, will be playing this afternoon up in Canaan against a co-op team up there. They're playing at Housatonic High School, and I think Wilcox actually left last night so they could get there in time for today's game.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back to Friday night's game. We had Southington action at home. Coach Mike Drury's Blue Knights at home against Glastonbury. Hey, one thing I want to point out, a little 6 degrees of separation with Mike Drury and Joy Colangelo. Joy Colangelo, along with being a fine dental hygienist, has 2 boys who played over at Cromwell High School for Coach Sal Morello when he was there. And 1 year before Mike started over at Southington, he was an assistant for Sal at Cromwell. One of Joy's, I think both of Joy's sons were playing there. And there you go. So Mike Drury is like the Kevin Bacon of football, I guess. And tonight, he and the Blue Knights broke in a new quarterback, replacing second-year starter Will Barmore, who graduated, was Jacob Drina, and I guess he did okay.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Glastonbury scored the first touchdown of the game, and then it was Jacob Drina. Yeah, he threw 5 touchdowns. The first were to another Jacob Flynn, who caught touchdowns of 68 yards, 41 yards, and 19 yards. Will Downs got into the action too with a 77-yarder and a 43-yarder, and Dylan Cole finished the scoring with a 7-yard touchdown run.
Adds up to a 41-7 win for Southington over Glastonbury. Go figure, the way the game started, Southington takes the opening kick, they fumble it, recover it, but on the first snap, Drina throws an interception, and Glastonbury winds up scoring off of that, and you're thinking, whoa. And then that's like the last incompletion or non-completion he threw to his own teammates. I actually wrote down the stats because they were so impressive for Drina. 16 for 24, 356 yards, 5 touchdowns. Welcome to the show, Jacob Drina, Jacob Flynn, Will Downs, big games, and obviously the boys up front on the O-line, giving that kid plenty of time to throw.
Yes.
All right, we got to talk about Southington's Thanksgiving rival, Cheshire. Cheshire had a big game for them against Shelton. They were supposed to play Shelton and West Haven on Thursday. That game got rained out, stormed out to Friday, and they move over to Xavier. And here's Shelton, the team ranked in the top 10, at number 6. Cheshire graduated a ton of kids, including third-year quarterback Jack Raba. Jason Samila slots in for him, and he has himself a really good game. And it's 10-10 in the final minutes. And talk about injustice. Shamila fumbles with about a minute to go, and Shelton turns that into the game-winning touchdown and a 17-10 final.
Yeah, like you said, it started with Jason Shamila started the scoring. Actually, Shelton scored 5 minutes into the first quarter, then Shamila scored from 38 yards. It was 7-7 at the half. Shelton went up 10-7 to start the third quarter, and Cheshire came back to tie it with a field goal of their own from Jonathan Casey. And then Christian Russo got a pick for Cheshire. Then Cheshire did fumble with 1:10, and then the first play back from scrimmage, Jake Roberts scored for Shelton, and that was it.
You feel so badly for Cheshire. It would have been a tremendous upset for them, really. Again, Shelton brings a team bringing a lot of talent back. In Cheshire, they lost so much. Guys like Mike Jeffrey up at Amherst have been starting for 4 years. Though here's the next wave of Cheshire kids. This Russo kid, Christian Russo, only a freshman. That makes him only the 3rd in Cheshire's checkered history to start as a freshman.
Wow.
So I'm sure that the Rams are just dying today. But you know what, man? It's something to build on, and that's for sure. And they're going out to Newtown next week. So, hey, no reason not to expect big things out of Cheshire. We'll see how they do, over in Newtown next Friday night. All right, let's talk about the Wallingford teams. They were both on the road down on the shoreline. Sheehan at Jonathan Law And boy, talk about a nice start there. Aaron Simmons returns the opening kick to the 5-yard line.
Yeah.
Terrence Bogan scores on the first snap. Boomity boom. Cheshire's Sheehan's on its way. They wind up winning 41-14. Of course, coming off their Class M playoff appearance. Now, one thing we need to talk about, West Jersey did not start this game. He didn't come in and play until the second half. Whatever issues the Titans had, I'm sure they'll be clearing them up. But one thing Coach John Frazzi told me about is for the first time in his coaching career there, he's got a quarterback in each class. And one of them is named Kyle Simmons. He's a junior, and he stepped in, threw a couple pair of touchdowns to Jake Smith, both for 43 yards. Say that twice over because that's what they did. Built a big lead. Tersey comes in, runs for a touchdown, and Terrence Bogan had a bunch too, did he not?
He did. He had 3 touchdowns in the game. He had 1 in the first quarter and then 2 in the fourth quarter. He finished with 215 yards on 21 carries.
Terrence Bogan,
Terrence
man.
Bogan.
Only a junior as well. He had 1,000 yards last year, and well, he's a fifth of the way there in week 1. And then Lyman Hall over at Brantford, looking to build on their 5-5 season. The 5 wins matching the win total for the 5 previous years. A lot of 5s there. Well, this was a game where Lyman Hall battled, seemed to always be playing catch up, a lot of turnovers. They had a chance to win. They wound up falling short 26-21, but they had a chance in this game, did they not, Sean?
Yeah, they did, yeah. Lewis Ferry's late touchdown got them within 5, and then they ended up getting the ball back at the end. I think they got about midfield, and they just couldn't come through. It wasn't meant to be there tonight for them, but they had some big performances. Shakespeare Rodriguez had a pick 6 for them. New quarterback Shaw Prognato had a touchdown pass to Furkan Perksal, and Lewis Ferry had the touchdown. But it was a strong showing for Lyman Hall.
Yeah, they cleaned up the mistakes because they were hurt by turnovers. They had some costly penalties too. They cleaned them up, and they'll get back on track. And hey, is it me or does Shakespeare Rodriguez have a pick 6 every game?
Yeah.
Not only does he have the best name on the football block, man, he's got some good hands in that secondary. And when he gets that ball, boy.
Yeah, he's good.
All right. After Spencer Davis made his way to Falcon Field and to Fontana Field on Friday night, he actually was in Southington to start the day. Sean, I didn't actually use him efficiently in terms of mileage. He went to Southington and Meriden, Southington. Now he's back here at Meriden. We're shooting this at like 2 in the morning. But he started his day over at the turf at Fontana Field. And the beauty of turf, Shawnee, when it rains, you can still play soccer. And the Southington boys did. And a good win for Coach Dave Yannis's club.
Great way to start.
1 zip over Conard. Yeah, hey, you know what, man? Southington, when they got realigned with the West Hartford schools and having to play Glastonbury and Simsbury, that's a tough road for them. But they are more than holding their own, and they win today 1 zip. Chris Japlinski scores like a minute and change into the second half. And John Griffin, 10 saves in net for the Blue Knights. He is filling big shoes. Evan Dodona, of course, is up at the University of Hartford, Division I kid, all-stater, all-record journal guy. And John Griffin holding up the legacy there. 10 saves. Southington girls also beat Conard 1 zip. We had a couple other teams in action today, did we not, Sean? On the pitch, as you like to say.
Yeah, Wilcox Tech, Katie Kearney had four goals in that first half.
Four
goals.
Katie Kearney is a machine.
Yes. Yeah, she was very good. And
let's say this right now. I think if, and I know it's only September 7th, 8th, and our all-record journal selections aren't for many a week yet, but I think if we don't put Katie Kearney on that team this year, Steve Wodarski is going to avalanche us with math problems for the rest of our lives. So, Katie, we got you on our radar screen, that's for sure. 4 goals today for the Tribe.
Yeah. Cheshire also tied Guildford, I believe, 2-2.
Yes.
And it was Lila McNamee had a goal and assist for Cheshire.
Okay. Maloney girls were over in Middletown. They lost 2 zip. Looking forward to Coach Owen McClure's team getting back home to Meriden, getting in the win column sooner than later. And we also had volleyball, Sean. One thing we can count on in the heat and in the rain and the locusts is volleyball. They're going to play volleyball. And Southington girls, Rich taking it to new heights. His team is 2-0 in as many days.
Yeah, no, strong start for them. They beat Massac on Thursday, 3-2, right. And then today they beat Conard 3-0. But Spencer was over at the Thursday night's game, and Jenna Martin and Brooke Cooney each had 9 kills apiece. Lindsay Danko had 17 digs. Olivia Carpenter, 35 assists.
No relation.
No relation.
You know, so there's no nepotism there. But what a start for her.
Yes.
Talk about another kid filling big shoes over in Southington. You know, John Griffin for Evan Dodona, and this girl for Stephanie Zara, who had like 900 some odd sets last year. You know. And if I remember right, Rich was low-key about naming his setter in the advanced material he sent over to us. And hey, Olivia Carpenter, I like your name, kid. And what a start for you. Outstanding.
Great debut, yeah. And, Veronica Gorski, 5 blocks, and Haley Larrabee, 5 aces and 8 kills. They won that game in 5, 15-8 in game 5.
Boy, you know, with Southington, it's a lot like the team they had last year, and they graduated some good girls off of that team, but it was always that balance. Yeah. You know, they had like 5 girls with like 175 to 205 kills, and you just read off those names. Look at the contributions they got. Yeah. Again, very well dispersed. Rich Heights off to a 2-0 start. Good for you, Coach. What else we got on the volleyball front, Mr. Krofzik?
Wilcox Tech also won today with Sue Planachek back in the mix.
That's right. Good to have Sue back.
Yep. Maloney won their home opener today, 3-0.
How my man Lou Giannakopoulos?
3-1 over Berlin. Big win. Big win at home as well.
All 3 Meriden teams with the win. Southington with the win. We always have good volleyball, Sean.
We do.
We always do. And picking the All-RJ volleyball team is always a tough choice to make. But hey, again, it's only September 7th, Sean.
That's right.
We are just getting started here.
That's right.
Hey, folks, we appreciate you tuning into This Week in High School Sports, the season opener. Again, a big thank you to Ed Pergiovanni and Mary Pergiovanni and Joy Colangelo at Family Dental Care. And Ed, I am going to remember that you made me wear that Yankee bib. Don't think that's not going to go unpunished. I am Brian Carpenter, sports editor of the Meriden Record-Journal, alongside Sean Krofzik, Spencer Davis, Justin Weeks, and all the guys who are out there covering games tonight. Johnny Pettit, Ron Buck, Phil Zoppi, Ryan Conchato, and Peter Dewey on Thursday up in Farmington, braving the elements. Did I forget anybody, Sean?
No, I think you got it. Well, Justin, right? Our friend Justin.
I like Justin so much, I'm going to say it twice.
That's what you did say.
Hey, folks, tune in every Saturday morning for This Week in High School Sports and our Athlete of the Week show. Shawnee, we're getting the drum roll in there, too. We're going to start that up, not next week, but the week after. Our first show will be coming down the pike. Thank you very much for tuning. We'll catch you next time.